So I've done escape rooms. Before I did my first one, the idea of participating in them was pretty exciting. But as the pressure is on to find clues, it's a little intimidating. I've realized I'm not the best at figuring out riddles. Escape Room's structure plays a little bit like the Saw films, albeit less torture porn, a lot less. There are a couple familiar faces in this film: Deborah Ann Woll from True Blood, which I've never seen, and the Daredevil series, which I've seen every episode. Amazing, I might add. Tyler Labine from the film Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, and Nick Dodani from Atypical series. Whereas the characters of Saw woke up in a basement room with shit attached to their body and heads, Escape Room's characters are invited by a puzzle box and voluntarily show up to play. And the moment the characters step into the waiting room, they don't realize it, but the clock is ticking. The characters at first appear with typically standard personalities. You have your expert gamer who's played plenty of these escape rooms. You have your loner of a wreck. You have your book-smart introvert, a successful office worker with expensive habits, and you have your completely clueless character that's barely heard of such games, and finally you have your emotionally dramatic one with PTSD issues. Going into this film, I expected a standard pick of who would die first, but it wasn't too predictable in that aspect though. This movie I found interesting enough. It was actually fun to watch. These characters search for clues and think at first that it was just a game, and then realize later how real it's become. Now, wouldn't it be awesome to be a part of an escape room with that kind of scope without the deadly scenarios though? After several rooms and deaths, characters are forced into a zebra-looking room and are poisoned. It's a pretty trippy scene. It made me think I should have tasted a little ganja beforehand. Near the end of the film, most of the characters are put in a room where they realize why they've been picked. And they all could have been connected or not. But those scenes, although feel like forced exposition, it does help give those characters a little bit of depth. Escape Room also has a hostile and soft feel to it, but is much more tame than those, and the rooms were utilized pretty well. By the end, who orchestrated the game is still a mystery. I have my guesses of who it might be. The shadow appeared near the end of the film, gave me quite the hint. But I won't ruin that for you guys. I'll bring it up in my review of a sequel, if a sequel ever comes. This movie as a whole is pretty standard. There's nothing special about the characters or the overused concept over the last 20 years. It's the elaborate rooms and the game itself that was really appealing to me. I'd like to see a direct sequel greenlit with or without some of the characters, as long as they keep the rooms different and challenging. Visually, I can see this being another Saw or Final Destination franchise. I recommend Escape Room. It's good fun. Thanks for watching, and please share. If you agree or disagree, put a comment down below me.